I'm Peter Santos, CEO of Audience, the leader in mobile voice processing.
Conference call?
I gotta get Brian on the phone.
Guys, I'm gonna get started.
All right.
Yeah, hey Brian, we're gonna need the ivory turtleneck. We haven't gotten that yet. Hello? We're still... Wait a minute, ivory turtleneck.
Alright.
No. Can you hear me?
Alright.
Can you hear me? Not the bottleneck. Forget it. I can't.
Brian, we're missing the ivory turtleneck. Okay? Tell him yourself.
Yeah, Brian.
Don't have to yell.
Brian. Yeah, so, you need the ivory turtle? Oh, you ship it separately. Excellent. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay. Bye-bye.
Great.
Now, doesn't he look happy? With our ear-smart technology in mobile devices today, we've made a great start on realizing our vision. And in our view, by 2022, voice will have a fundamental and immersive role in mobile device communication, much as touch does today. And not just for phones and tablets, but also for the wider world of connected devices, be they pajama chips or robots. First, what we see is that presence comes to the mobile platform. The person on the other end of the communication, whether it's a voice or video call, is going to sound like they're right there with you. Next, mobile devices will be able to intelligently understand you. They'll be able to understand who you are, where you are, what you want, any place, anytime. And finally, rich multimedia capture capability on mobile devices will substantially enhance people's social identity as they look to use their mobile devices to capture content to post to their social network pages. Now, much of this is familiar fare from science fiction, but our view is that there are key consumer trends as well as enabling technologies that are going to make these things a reality in the next decade. If we look to some of those trends, for example, Skype announced at CES that they had provided over 300 billion minutes of wideband communication last year, of which 50% were video. As AT&T and their peers start to roll out 4G networks and HD voice comes to the fore, that level of experience is going to proliferate to the wider cellular subscriber base. The emergence of Siri and other voice interface technologies provided by companies like Google and AT&T have captured people's imagination and set the bar dramatically higher for expectations of voice interface with mobile devices and eventually connected devices. And last, the Facebook and social networking phenomenon is going to drive substantial demand for high-quality capture on mobile devices so that people can start generating content for their social network pages no matter where they are. Now, to be sure, 4G and Wi-Fi and next-generation networks and some of the data infrastructure and software applications, the tremendous amount of innovation that's happening in the carriage of connectivity information will provide a huge role. However, a fat and intelligence pipe is not sufficient. What we have to have is the ability to intelligently capture and understand sound in endpoint devices for these services to reach their full potential with human beings that need to interact with this capability. Providing that capability in end-user terminals is going to require deep technology linked to a keen understanding of the user experience. Now, the good news is that we have an existence proof of that ability to understand and capture sound in the human hearing system like you're using right now to listen to me talk. And you're able, by the way, to distinguish what I'm saying from what's going on in the next room, which is pretty cool. At Audience, we've dedicated ourselves to reverse engineering the human hearing system and commercializing it for the mass market, to bring a compelling user experience in which you no longer have to worry about what kind of environment you're in as to whether you can communicate and use voice, as we saw in that video. Now, how many people are enjoying the benefits of this capability today? Well, our first generation ear-smart technology has been integrated into more than 60 mobile device models around the world. And we've shipped those devices to over 135 million subscribers that are enjoying the benefits of this technology today. But that's just the beginning. And what I'd like to do now is have my colleague Eric come up and demonstrate our second generation wideband FarTalk ear-smart technology. Ready?
I was like, what is I guess not.
I'm sure it was really hard for any of you to hear what Eric was saying, but we're going to show what the ear-smart technology will allow you to do.
Hi, my name is Eric, and I'll be doing a demonstration of audience ear-smart technology. As you can see in here, I just entered a really busy night spot back home in California. Right now, you can't hear anything that I'm saying. I'm holding the tablet like I would for a video call, so my mouth is far away from the microphone. But yet, you'll be able to hear me due to the audience ear-smart technology. If I turn noise suppression off, you can now hear all the noise and get an idea of how much noise we're actually removing. And now I'm going to turn the audience technology back on. And now I can hear and be heard in any environment.
Okay, thanks, Eric. That sounded great. So, we feel that we are well on our way to realizing our vision of voice in 2022. A vision in which real-time communication is going to be a remarkable experience, in which smart devices actually become smarter in that they can understand you. Voice assistants are very compelling. They're easily confused by noise. Finally, where you're able to post great-sounding content to your social media page. So, as we look to the future, we're convinced that life is great when it can hear as well as you can. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. That's a fantastic demonstration. Very, very obvious what happens when you turn the sound recognition off. So I just want to get a couple of questions for you, and we've got a couple of minutes exactly for that. And if I could turn to John Donovan first of all, and just ask observations, questions.
Sure. We're opening a speech API up in April. How do you envision mashing your service up with a cloud-enabled API that just gives you the speech engine? Any ideas?
Mike? Thanks, John. So we have worked with a number of different speech recognition capabilities, and we actually have a very long history with AT&T going back to when we were about a 10-person company, and we actually have a separate usage mode. While what you sounded here sounded good to you, it doesn't sound good to a speech recognizer. So we have not only demonstrated the ability to not do damage, but we're able to make, in that kind of environment with that much noise, by removing it, allow the speech recognition system to work very well, and are certainly planning on working with that API that your team is developing.
Great, thanks.
And John Below, you've done 20 investments or more into mobile in the last decade or so. Any quick comments?
Sure. As an investor, I always have to worry about my own money first. So what are the dependencies in bringing that second generation product to market? Who are the key customers, and when can we actually see it in the market? When should I expect to be able to see that on a device?
Yeah, great question. Our customers that are publicly announced to date for our first generation technology include Samsung, LG, HTC, Sharp. We'll be working with all of those partners on this technology, in addition to some others that we can't reveal at this point. To your question about dependencies, the dependencies for the capability you just heard, making it sound great to an end users, are minimal. We're able to do that. For speech recognition enhancement, as I said in answer to John's question, there is collaboration with a speech rec provider, but we are of a sufficient scale today that we can sustain that engagement with speech rec providers, and given our ability to demonstrate voice capability, come to that with quite a bit of credibility.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you again for coming on stage. And